Avoidance melt when they encounter genuine understanding without pressure, acceptance without attempts at change, and patience without expectation of reciprocation. These qualities penetrate the defensive walls because they address the avoidant's deepest fears while honoring their need for autonomy and emotional safety. Unlike dramatic declarations of love or persistent pursuit that trigger their defenses, the behaviors that melt avoidance work by creating psychological safety that allows their authentic emotions to surface naturally. The primary quality that melts avoidant hearts is unconditional acceptance of their emotional limitations and processing style. When someone truly understands that their withdrawal isn't rejection, their need for space isn't indifference, and their emotional restraint isn't lack of feeling, it creates profound relief and gratitude. This acceptance doesn't mean enabling poor behavior, but rather recognizing their emotional patterns as valid ways of processing rather than personal attacks or character defects. Avoidants melt when they encounter patience that doesn't feel like martyrdom or passive aggression. This means waiting for their emotional availability without sighing, complaining, or making them feel guilty for their timeline. When someone can genuinely occupy themselves with their own life while remaining warmly available for connection when the avoidant is ready, it creates safety that allows the avoidant to approach rather than feeling pursued or pressured. Intellectual respect and stimulation melt avoidant defenses because they appeal to their need to feel understood and valued for their mental sophistication. When someone engages with their ideas thoughtfully, challenges their perspectives constructively, and provides insights that expand their thinking, it creates attraction based on genuine compatibility rather than emotional neediness. This intellectual connection feels safe because it doesn't require immediate emotional vulnerability. Emotional consistency without emotional demands melts avoidance because it provides the stability they crave without the pressure they fear. When someone maintains the same warm, respectful energy, regardless of the avoidant's current emotional state or availability, it creates a secure base they can rely on. This consistency demonstrates that the person's emotional state doesn't depend on the avoidant's behavior, which removes the burden of emotional management that avoidants find overwhelming. Independence that enhances rather than competes with the relationship melts avoidant hearts because it mirrors their own psychology while creating intrigue. When someone has their own goals, interests, and sources of fulfillment that don't require the avoidance participation or validation, it demonstrates the kind of self-sufficiency that avoidants find attractive and safe. This independence shows that they are being chosen rather than needed, which feels infinitely more appealing to their psychology. Subtle appreciation for their unique way of expressing care melts avoidant defenses because it validates their emotional contributions without demanding more. Avoidants often express love through actions, practical support, and quiet presence rather than verbal declarations or dramatic gestures. When someone notices and appreciates these subtle expressions of care, it makes the avoidant feel seen and valued for who they are rather than criticized for who they are not. Emotional sophistication that matches their complexity melts avoidance because it suggests compatibility without overwhelming intensity. When someone can discuss emotions, relationships, and personal growth with nuance and depth rather than simplistic demands or dramatic expressions, it creates intellectual and emotional respect. This sophistication shows that the person can handle emotional complexity without becoming overwhelmed or requiring constant reassurance. Non-judgmental curiosity about their inner world melts avoidant hearts because it feels like genuine interest rather than attempts to fix or change them. When someone asks thoughtful questions about their perspectives, experiences, and feelings without trying to provide solutions or emotional corrections, it creates space for them to explore and share their authentic thoughts and feelings. The absence of emotional manipulation or guilt tactics melts avoidant defenses because it demonstrates genuine respect for their autonomy and decision-making capacity. When someone expresses their needs and boundaries without making the avoidant responsible for their emotional state, it creates trust that the relationship won't become a source of guilt obligation, or emotional burden. What ultimately melts the avoidant is encountering someone who genuinely doesn't need them to be different, but simply appreciates who they are while maintaining their own emotional center and life direction. This combination of acceptance and independence creates the psychological safety necessary for the avoidant's authentic feelings to emerge while providing the respect and understanding they've been seeking throughout their relational history.